and ain't no wannabes here. With some not so nice advice for your writing career. To be clear, no punches will be pulled, but the punch may be spiked. How they like before they get on the mic. To my left, we got the mighty Lafferty. And if I piss her off, believe me, she'll come after me. And her co-host Ursula Vernon on the right. Yeah, she's burning to recite a slime mold speech tonight. So settle in, folks, buckle in and boot up. Time to meddle in a way to make you writer shut up. It's hard work, but the perk is that it's fun and exciting. Facebook will still be there when you're done writing. Ditch Diggers! Ditch Diggers!
Coming to you live from the secret room behind the Ditch Diggers Manor wine cellar that's connected via a tunnel. It is the Ditch Diggers with Lafferty and Ursula Vernon. How are you, Ursula?
I am pretty damn good. How are you, Mur?
I am fairly good. I'm getting ready to have surgery later this week, but for now I'm doing fine.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a weird headspace to be in.
It is. It really is. It's also one of those things where it's minor surgery. Many people have had it. On the other hand, I am going under general anesthesia and I'm going to be intubated, and that all freaks me out just a little bit. So,
yeah, no matter what happens, there's always that little tiny voice going, "But what if you die on the table?
Yeah,
you haven't handed in the last book." Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did. I have handed in the last book. What if
Okay,
I die on the
you're
table
ahead of
and
me.
I don't get to edit it anymore to make it any better?
I assume your editor will handle that.
I'm probably gonna have to. I'm gonna have to put something in my will to have you finish it or something.
Oh God.
Yeah, you want that?
It'll get a little strange. I'll do it.
Yeah,
because we're friends.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, we are. This is the third episode of Ditch Diggers. We're hitting some sort of stride. I've been rather mind blown with travel and kid illness and dog illness and all kinds of crap. But now I'm finally
and upcoming surgery.
And now upcoming surgery. But I'm able to record and do this thing, and hopefully by the time the surgery comes, I'll have this and other 2 episodes scheduled and edited and ready to go. But we are here to talk about writing as a job. For me, as I mentioned, churning in my book finally freed up some time to catch up on the many, many podcasts I'm behind on. So I haven't been writing at all. I've been doing the podcasty thing and thinking about my interactive fiction class, which I need to do some homework for. So that's what I've been up to. What about you, Ursula?
I have been head down on this manuscript, and it is hitting the sort of rock rolling downhill, finally, the point where you stop pushing and start chasing. And it's so I think I may finish it off this week, which would be great because then I go to Finland next week. So it would be awesome if I could not have this anywhere on my brain and just send it to my editor before I go, and then I'd be like, I am free for a week to do nothing but be at a convention and go to the Moomin Museum and do sauna. Yes, they're very big on that in Finland.
I know. So yeah, luckily, if you hadn't noticed, the episode title is WTF is wrong with people. Oh wait, we're Ditch Diggers, I can say it. What the fuck is wrong with people? And our goal here is to make you not like people, because people keep being stupid in public and on the internet, and we don't want you to be like people. So, as Ursula mentioned, talking crap about people, we, in the Discord, people have been talking about, apparently there's an agent who has been saying really stupid stuff. Really, really stupid stuff on the internet, and you'd think I would have this queued up, but I mean, and
let's be clear: people saying stupid things on the internet is Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, and every other day. But
yes,
when it's an agent who is a position with perhaps outsized clout in the writer community online, or at least certainly among people trying to get early in their careers.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Somebody's going to listen to this person and somehow miss the firestorm of the internet coming down on her with a big hammer and think, oh, this is the way things are. And so, anyway, an agent has said, just read a query that was essentially The Road meets Deliverance and YA. And now I want someone to write this for me, please. And someone replies, not the original querier? And she said, hi, no, the author did not pitch it such, and the sample wasn't strong enough. And this is not the only thing that this person has said, but
you don't do that.
No, you don't. You don't really. And if you do, you don't phrase it like that. Because sometimes agents say, I'm looking for a YA, well, like a YA Deliverance, or a vampire presumed innocent, or, you know, they'll come up with something that's kind of strangely specific that they want to see. And if it's...
And you can say that. It is fine to say that. You don't have to add, because an author pitched that to me and they weren't good enough to write it themselves. That's where you have crossed the line into just being horrible.
Yeah. And the thing is, ideas are not copyrightable. If one thing that's often awesome in our little writing workshop we have twice a month on the Patreon, where it's called Kick in the Pants, because all you have to do is write 1,000 words or 30 minutes on a prompt. And we always get very different pieces of fiction from the same prompt. But still, it's just the whole, like, decorum. You don't say, hey, I've just dumped my agent, this person, who is at this address, and I'm going to tag them on social media and say they were awful and they owe me money. It's like, no, you just don't do that. And then someone else found...
I mean, if they owed you money, I would forgive some lapses, but... Actually, it's going to depend on the sum of money over time.
Yeah, well, it's also like...
There's an equation that would probably work it out, but...
Okay, we'll have to... There probably is something math out there that will tell us at what point do you name and shame, but I think most of us are of the opinion that you don't do that. I mean, even people who've told me that they want to leave an agent, they'll tell me, like, on the down low, like... at cons, looking to the side to make sure no one else can hear, and will say, I'm thinking of leaving my agent. Can you tell me about X, Y, or Z who I should talk to? But it's like, I know very few people who would do that. Because, you know, it's a professional relationship, and even if you don't feel you've been professional, when they go low, you go lower is never a good look. So, this agent has also apparently said that she's a writer. Okay, the last thing I want is a writer claiming I consciously or subconsciously stole their book idea from myself. As a human, I cannot control what sticks in my back brain and what might, at some point, whether in an image or a character name or a plot point or line of dialogue, come out again. I read so many things over the course of a day, week, month, year. I have no idea what I'll retain and what I won't. The good thing is, I have no time to deviously sit here and plagiarize something outright. The bad thing is, I read so much that certain ideas are bound to stick. How do I avoid these ideas emerging in my own writing? I don't know. But I urge squeamish, litigious writers not to query me. I trust and respect writers and want the same courtesy in return. Okay, if a writer's reluctant to show me their work or legitimately thinks I'll steal it, which you just said you might do, I can't be bothered with them. There are lots of other talented writers and worthwhile projects out there.
I mean, this is one of those weird things where it's not necessarily that she's wrong, but you shouldn't have said it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because yes, ideas do come from everywhere, and we are all, like, subconsciously dragging them in from our reading material all the time. Like, I wrote an entire book where the bad guys had the same name as the ones in George R. R. Martin's books, which I read the first one in college and hadn't read any others at that point. And halfway, and the editor didn't catch it either, and my agent didn't catch it. The movie wasn't, or the TV show wasn't a thing yet. Wow. And then right before, I was like, wait a minute. Actually, you were the one who saved me, Mer.
I was?
Yes, you showed me a set of Game of Thrones Valentines.
Oh, okay.
And I looked at one of them, and I think it's the Dothraki was the name of the group, and I looked at it and was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Now, again, this was certainly not an intentional plagiarization. First of all, because it'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Everyone would notice that. But it was just that I groped around for a word or for a name for these people, and that was a word that showed up. And I was like, all right, that'll work. Because I read, the first book in college years earlier. Mm-hmm. And so, thank God we caught it, and since then I have gone to naming virtually all of my races and about half of my people after the Latin names of plants, which has fixed a lot. But
I think what you should do is you should shorten them with apostrophes, because no one's done that.
I don't know. Might be a little too avant-garde for the genre. But the thing is that having said that, and yes, if you are in a panic that someone will steal your ideas, that is a very early fear, I suppose, that many writers have, because you love your idea and you're terrified that someone will take your idea away. And before you realize that if you give 10 writers an idea, you get 11 different books.
Yeah.
Because 2 of them are overachievers and 2 of them didn't turn it in. One of them didn't turn it in. I don't know. So anyway, it works out. But it's I sort of feel like, with very, very rare exceptions, that I'm afraid of someone stealing my idea should be met with compassion rather than derision. Yes, there are a couple loons out there who will try to sue everyone, but that's in any field. I mean, it doesn't matter if you make, tires or pornography, there's somebody who's going to say you've stolen their idea. I'm not suggesting you combine the two.
Okay.
Yeah. I picked 2 genres that seemed unrelated. Anyway, the point is, the point is that it's better to be, like, honey, that's not a problem, relax, than yeah, I'm totally doing it because everybody does it. I mean, that's, I suppose, but yeah.
You don't call up a friend and say, I had a really good poop today. Although we assume you have at some point recently because you're still alive. But we don't need to hear it.
Yes.
And, there are so many things that we don't need to hear. And I hear you on the whole, you do internalize things. My first book with Orbit was Hitchhiker's Guide and Monsters instead of aliens. And I didn't even realize it. It was shocking. It was stupidly shocking to me because I loved that book so much in college, which is probably why it got planted and took root and did not leave. But what you said about people being afraid of stealing your ideas, that's one of the biggest reasons I started I Should Be Writing. It was because of someone you and I both know. And I was thinking, we should have a writer's group. And they said, oh, no, I'm afraid someone will steal my ideas. And I'm thinking, I don't think that happens a lot. And also, I don't, how are you going to get anything published ever? If you really want to follow this path, how are you going to get over this fear? Except for
and the thing is that there is a phenomenon, for lack of a better word, where and I assume this is because it's sort of the 100th monkey thing, where you will get a spate in 1 year where everybody has books about fungus horror or whatever. That's the one I always hear about because I had one. And it's, it is not that we are all stealing from each other. It's that we probably all read the article in Scientific American about cordyceps fungus at the same time when it went around the internet 3 years ago, and now it's out. Or, and sometimes they get very specific. Like, in fact, that was the reason I did not make it cordyceps. I was like, very clear, it is not cordyceps, because everybody's doing cordyceps. It was like, someone who had an anthology said once that 1 year they got 4 kudzu takes over the world stories.
Wow.
From 4 different writers. And like, that is so specific, but obviously at some point there was an article or something, and then there was the time gap where things percolate and then everything comes out. It's gotten to the point, and I think Neil Gaiman said once that when he was writing the serial killers convention arc in Sandman, he had the idea and then he was like, oh fuck, this is such a good idea. I have to write this down because he's like, someone else will think of it. And because I'm amazed this hasn't been done yet. And it's and at that point, it's not that anyone's stealing. It's just, oh God, I'm rushing me the first to publication kind of thing. I can only think of one time in my entire career that I have had an idea that struck me as so original that I was actively worried someone else would publish it first. And joke's on you, it's coming out in 2025, 26? I don't know, something like that. Maybe 20. Well, anyway. It's at my editor. I wrote it already.
Tell us what it is.
Yeah, I wanted to know what would happen if if a vampire had bot flies.
The bot fly one, yes.
Yes. And so there is a gestalt sort of, but it's never plagiarism. It's never someone is stealing my idea. It's always, oh shit, everyone else will have thought of this.
Yeah.
Oh crap. And yeah, that's a phenomenon. But at the same time, even if there are 5 kudzu stories, as we always say, you have not written a kudzu story. Well, we don't say the kudzu part. You haven't written it. It's why fairy tale retellings still work. It's the same story in every fairy tale. Every Sleeping Beauty is the same Sleeping Beauty, but the versions of it are so dramatically, wildly different that it's not, that you haven't written it yet. So, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that said, once in 1,000 years or so, you will have an idea, and Scalzi said once that he actually had a book that was most of the way written, and another one got published, and he and his editor both looked at it and were like, God damn it. Nope, can't put this one out now. Because of reasons. He has never gone into that, but I mean, there are times when, just like there are sudden amazingly great confluences of times to get an idea out, there are also amazing confluences of, oh shit. Like, this is why writing near future is so impossible, and most of the people I know have given up. But anyway, long story short, worrying about people stealing your ideas is very, very, no, that's not the problem.
There are worse things that can and probably will happen to you over your career. And
it's very rare that your idea, frankly, is that amazing. I hate to say it. Many of my ideas are very stupid. Hogfather by Terry Pratchett, one of the greatest books ever written, is about using the Tooth Fairy to kill Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
That is objectively a stupid idea.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant because he wrote it. And
yeah.
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 I forget where I was going with that.
No,
all ideas are stupid. We're all just trying to drag them up to standards of publishability.
Yes. I have, yeah, I'm determined to make my Red Shirts Meets Hallmark Christmas Movies, story work. But there's, the thing I always go to is take a young woman and give her powers that she doesn't understand and make her special and put it in vampires and make the hottest vampire fall in love with her for absolutely no reason. And then you've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twilight, Sunshine by Robin McKinley, and Sookie
Which, if you haven't read, go read it.
Yes, Sunshine's actually quite good. Sunshine just feels like bakery porn. I remember almost nothing about the vampire bit, but the fact that the main character was a baker and talks about her job a lot was just made me very hungry.
It's really good. It is a very, very good take on vampires and everything else. I enjoyed it. I wish you'd written more in that world, but such is life.
Yeah. So that feels like a very specific description, and yet those are 4 very different stories.
I have once in my life, and in fact, I think I talked to you about this while reading for blurbs. I had 2 stories come across my desk simultaneously that were the same.
Yes,
not word for word, but they were the same plot, and the style was very similar. And they were by 2 different authors at 2 different houses, and there was no way that they could know each other. And it was such an extraordinarily unusual phenomenon that I was like talking to my agent and my writer friends going, have any of you ever seen anything like this before? Because that never happens.
Yeah.
That was the struck by lightning while being eaten by a shark kind of thing. That It genuinely never happens. It was so weird.
Does the shark die in that scenario?
I think if the shark's eating you, you get a pass on not feeling bad about the shark dying.
I'm not worried about the shark. I'm just asking if the shark can survive.
Were worried about the shark. It might have been an endangered shark.
Okay, so when the lightning strikes you while you're being eaten by an endangered shark, the point is you worry about the shark.
Once, assuming I had lived through this scenario and was on shore and there was a tourniquet over the stump and, my heart was slowing down from the however many kilojoules of whatever, I would probably be like, what happened to the shark, man? Where's the shark? And then later, if I had recovered, I would be like, well, it wasn't the shark's fault. Shark was just eating, a primate that happened to be in its area.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And the lightning was nobody's fault, so.
Yeah. Well, we are apparently suffering an ad break, even though I ran an ad at the very beginning so this wouldn't happen. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten the notice. I just got the notice one was coming, but it hasn't actually said it started yet. I still think this whole ad thing on Twitch is not quite... It's very unwieldy. But, yeah, so we basically said someone... Okay, now the ad break's in progress. Okay. So we can take a moment to relax and get some water if you want, or Ursula can vamp.
Yes.
But I know the people who are missing Ursula vamping will probably be very unhappy with it, so... Yeah.
Can I go blow my nose?
You can go blow your nose. Go for it.
Yay! I'll be back.
Well, it says an ad is in progress. So Frosty Tools says an ad is in progress. Usually when Frosty Tools says it, it's right. There it is. Okay. Hey, Fire Rider.
Hi.
Hi.
Timer.
Hi, Kevin.
I return.
All right, we're all back, it looks like, and we got a drive-by hello from Kevin. Okay, Kimmy says hi, Kevin.
I will relay everyone's highs when he is back from communing with his chickens.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's funny that we went from saying this woman was off, just being not acting well, but her core statement is fine, but it's just
you don't say it like that, and you aren't derisive about the authors contacting you.
Yes.
And yeah.
And you don't yell at them that they're cowards, because, I mean, we deal with enough author anxiety. We don't need to hear that we're cowards, too.
Yeah. And yeah, it's you shouldn't say it like that. And it's, it's like anything else. There are people who are when there are people who are starting out who are lower on the ladder than you are, be nicer to them. Do not stomp on their fingers and tell them that, they're having first rung problems or whatever.
Yeah. First rung problems. Yes. Asking for an idea is fine, but they didn't need to say it came from another pitch. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. And remember, if you're listening to this later, you can ask and we will answer. We try to stream every other Monday on Twitch, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time right now, on twitch.tv/MightyMur. Did I say all that? Monday, 3 p.m., streaming every other week. There we go.
Send in your questions. We like questions. Otherwise, I just sit here and start blathering about kudzu.
Yes. Well, they would like that, too. We have a new theme song, which the chat has not heard yet, but it does mention you in your slime mold speeches.
Yay!
Yes.
I just had to record a set of acceptance speeches. The Locus Awards have been awarded, and I am extremely honored I won too. This is not me attempting to talk about that.
Oh,
but
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, thank you. But the thing is, I was nominated in 3 categories, and they wanted, 3 speeches, essentially. And I was like, okay, it is highly unlikely that I will win 3. Frankly, I thought it was unlikely I'd win 2. I'm not saying it was likely I'd win even 1, but 2 was just getting, So the first speech was basically me saying, thank you, I'm very honored. I deliberately did not mention what work it was for or name the editor. And then just started talking about Eastern skunk cabbage, which can produce its own heat. It's one of the only endothermic plants, and why it does that. And then, thanked everyone. And the second one, I was like, you only get 1 clever speech per award ceremony. Thank you all. Do not trust the skunk cabbage. And the third one was just me going, is this a trap? And so they played 2 of them, apparently. So I'm kind of glad they didn't do the "is this a trap?"
I gotta say, Martha Wells won both fantasy and science fiction novel awards for Locus.
Yep.
So good for you, Martha. System Collapse and Witch King.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Locus fans don't like me. I don't know.
It's like reviewers. Like Kirkus can like you, or Publishers Weekly can like you, but both of them will not like you. And if Kirkus likes you, you are riding the tiger, and sooner or later you will fall off and they will maul you.
I have fallen off the Kirkus tiger before.
Yeah. I actually got away with not following up the tiger by virtue of never writing another children's book.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at all the other winners. The Locus Awards have been awarded, and all the information is up. Ursula K. Le Guin won a Locus Award, which is interesting.
Good for her. It's good to see she's finally getting some recognition.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
me whining that I don't get award nominations is pretty privileged.
It's okay. We're doing a podcast about people, in their careers, not, early on. And it is a thing that people worry about. It is like, I write the books, people pay me for the books, but no one, gives me awards. Why not? And it's, I think there is a certain extent to which it is, how movie critics, after a point, hate movies that everyone loves because they have seen them all by now.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like the weird avant-garde shit. There is a certain extent to which you can be a very good writer, but if you are writing within certain genres and or subgenres, I guess in this case, if you are just a writer and not a writer's writer kind of thing, then you get fewer awards. And the other problem there is that it's not all that common that you can, if you write stuff that's weird, damn it, Hound.
Hound, it's just me.
If you write stuff that the critics like, the odds are pretty good that the wider reading public is going to be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
So you can get money, or critics can like you. Pick one, I suppose. Also, once you are in the what am I looking for? The gestalt of the people who vote on these, you are much more likely to get subsequent ones once you break into it. For example, the Bram Stoker Award has no idea I exist. Mm-hmm. And I've written a number of horror novels. I've won awards for horror novels, but the Stoker is like, what? Who?
Yeah.
And which is fine. I'm not saying I need one. I'm just saying, or the World Fantasy Award, never nominates me for stuff, which is fine. It's a different group.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And I got to be the Toastmaster at World Fantasy and tell them all about terror birds, so it was a good gig.
Awesome. But they still don't nominate you for anything.
It's fine. I don't need all of them. Okay, one would be nice, but I don't need all of them. It is not Pokemon. The buff does not stack. Mm-hmm. It's fine. I nominated you or your book.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. We do have someone wanting to share some good news in the chat.
Give us good news.
My dad passed recently, so to honor him, I published my first module on DM's Guild. It's free. It's not really sold, but last I checked, it's almost 100 units sold. It's my first sale, publishing-wise.
I am torn. I was about to say that's awesome, but I'm very sorry about your father. Yes. My sympathy. It is awesome that the thing you have done to honor him has started selling. That's fabulous.
Yes, that's excellent. It's always good to have validation is the word I'm looking for.
Yes. And RPG modules are hard. Oh yeah. I've tried to write some and I'm like, God, this is messed up. Like, how do I possibly account for any of the zillion things that the little darlings will take in their heads to do?
Yes.
I have been a module breaking player, and suddenly on the other side, I'm like, God, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, I can hear your husband in the background laughing. Even if he's not hearing you, he's finding a reason to laugh, and he'll figure out why later.
Yeah, the soul is laughing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you have anything you want to address besides don't be an asshole? Which apparently still needs to be, mentioned?
It's, look, it is fine to say, I read a book about this and it sucked. Or even, I got a pitch and it sucked, although I wouldn't necessarily do that myself. My rule of thumb is if I have read a bad book, and I do, and I want to vent about it, I either do it completely in private to my writers group.
Yes.
Or if I'm going to talk about it on like social media or something because it came up, and usually it's just, I read a book about that. I do not include the author name. I include no information that I can find that would be identifiable unless they are either so much richer than me that they do not care. Stephen King, George R. R. Martin, and etc. Or that lady in Scotland. Thank you. Yes, or they are dead.
Right.
Because authors are people. And some of them still foolishly search their own names on social media. Don't do that, kids. If you're doing that, I want you to stop. Yeah. It is not good for you. Nothing you find will make you stronger, happier, or more joyful.
Yes, it will not fulfill anything in your life.
Yes, there is only darkness there. This goes doubly true if you find yourself on Reddit. Oh, God. Anyway, I used to read our fantasy, and I would see my name on a comment, and I would just close the thing. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't if I have just read the greatest book in history, I will close the thing, because if they say it was the greatest book I've ever read, I'm naming my children after the characters, there was a typo on page 300, I will be in the corner weeping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because sane people don't become writers, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, or if they were when they started out, they're not by the time they get here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so just don't. Just if you must bitch about something online, strip it out of any identifiable information. And I feel like it was The Road Meets Deliverance YA is maybe a little close to identifying information, particularly when it's in the context of someone who queried me. Mm-hmm. Because then all the people who queried you are going, wait, was that my book?
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm online, going, man, this book about Yeti just did not work for me. It almost got there and then just no. There are so many books about Yeti. Who's going to know who it was? Other than the person 3 comments down who was like, was it so-and-so by such? And I'm like, yes, but I didn't want to say it. Because there's always that person.
Yeah, I'm always amazed. We recently lost Janet Reed, who was doing Query Shark for years, and she did so much to help people out with their queries, and I thought it was very brave that people would send, because to have Query Shark do your query, she would put it on her blog, so everyone would see, and then she would critique it, and everyone would see what, not only what your book's about, but how you were critiqued from the Query Shark.
Was there a comment section?
I'm actually not sure.
I could probably do that, but not with a comment section. Mm-hmm. I would never do that now. I would be like, whatever, I'm writing the damn books. They are what they are. They are written. I can't fix it now. But, yeah. But a comment section, I would, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's, but sometimes if agents come on to say, I'm not getting the queries I'm hoping for, they're not going to say, and this one about baseball only done by rats, was really extra stupid and just not, not good.
Yeah. don't put anything down. If you're going to speak obliquely about something, and there are plenty of reasons to, if you would be able to identify your book from that, you need to go back another step of opacity.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions. I guess we can go ahead and end this, and we'll hopefully be back in 2 weeks. That'll be early July. You will be in Finland? How long are you staying in Finland?
Let me look. This is May.
It's June now and almost done with June.
Well, I have a doctor's appointment on the 15th, so I think I'll be back before then.
Okay. Did that answer my question? I'm not sure. You still don't know when you're coming back. You just know you're back by the 15th.
Yeah. I leave this Sunday, and I don't know if I'll be back for the Ditch Diggers after that Monday. Mm-hmm. I'll be back later in the week, but I may be super jet lagged or something, or not here until the evening because time zones. How do they work?
We'll figure it out. I mean, we've already almost done half of last year's Ditch Diggers, so I think we're still going at a good rate.
Yay!
But if you want to find
send
out,
questions.
Yes, send questions.
I can pretend to be Matt and be like a bad cop.
No, Matt's mellowed. Matt's not quite so bad cop anymore. Yeah.
I can try to be.
It could just be you.
Life affirming cop.
Oh boy. You could. But you know, I wanted you to be my co-host because of you.
Aw. I feel the love. I won't look it up on Reddit though.
No, don't look up the love on Reddit. Anyway, to find out more about me, you can go to murverse.com. That's MURVERSE, and that's where you'll find me. I'm hoping to do some interesting videos soon, but God knows I'm very ADHD with my cool ideas and follow through. We'll see. But I have been podcasting since 2004, so I got that going for me. But Ursula, where do we find you?
You find me online at redwombatstudio.com or go to Blue Sky. I am T. Kingfisher. You can find most of my books, for all of my books for adults are under the name T. Kingfisher. You can find them and read them. Only go to Twitter when my publisher pings me now.
This podcast was produced under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives License. Music provided by Devo Spice, devospice.com.
Ditch Diggers!
This is a free podcast brought to you by the kindness of our patrons. If you would like to also be kind and a patron, go to patreon.com/mightymur. Yeah, I don't go there anymore because of scariness.
Yeah, it's bad, but like if the publicist is like, will you retweet this? Yes, I'm going to retweet this because there's evil and then there's trying to explain myself to a publicist and
Yeah.